Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing a book review on Loki, Where Mischief Lies by Mackenzie Lee. Loki, Where Mischief Lies by Mackenzie Lee follows a young Loki who is desperate to prove himself to his father and brother and prove he can be a hero and not the villain. The only one who sees him for who he is Amora, a sorceress in training. When Loki and Amora cause the accidental destruction of an important artifact, Amora is banished to Earth, and Loki's place at court is strained as people wonder his future. Years later, Asgardian magic is detected in 18th century London, and Loki is sent on a mission to uncover who is behind a string of human murders. Loki, uninterested in handling this mission initially, finds himself learning more about the humans he despises, coming to care for some of them along the way. In the process, Loki also struggles with who he should be, the hero or the villain. This mission to Earth becomes a journey that Loki realizes he needed all along, and that he will no longer be controlled by fate. Yeah guys, this book was 100% freaking better than that Black Widow Forever Red book by Margaret Stoll that I read quite a number of years ago. If you happen to watch my review for that, like I said, I did it quite a while back. Yeah, it was called Black Widow Forever Red by Margaret Stoll, focused on Natasha Romanoff, aka Black Widow. I just did not really like that book. I wasn't impressed with it. I found it a little boring, just not very interesting. So I was very hesitant heading into this book. But yeah, really the reason I was so interested in picking this book up anyway is because I do love the character of Loki, especially as he's portrayed by Tom Hiddleston in the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. And yeah, this is put out by Marvel, it says down here. But yeah, I'm not quite sure what this book ties into. Let's begin there before I get into my actual thoughts on the book. For those of you who are wondering where this book takes place, I'm not really sure where this book is supposed to be, because it says Marvel down here, but it doesn't say like Disney Marvel. So I don't know if this book is a tie-in to Marvel Comics, or if it's a tie-in to the Marvel movies. If someone has an answer, please let me know. Or yeah, does this book not really tie in to either? It's kind of its own middle thing, if that makes sense. I did have more of a vibe that this might tie in more to the movies, but I'm not quite positive about that. So yeah, if you are kind of wondering that, you know, where does this book take place? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it ties into the comics or the movies, to be quite honest. But yeah, what you do need to know is that this is almost kind of like a prequel of sorts, or even a origin story, if you want to think about it that way, because yeah, the events of this book, even though half of it does take place in Asgard, which is the home planet or home place of, you know, characters like Loki and Thor and Odin. So yeah, when he does arrive on Earth, or Midgard as it's called, he's arriving in 18th century London. So that's why I mentioned that this is definitely more of like an origin or a prequel story for his character, because it doesn't take place in like the modern, you know, our modern society here. So I guess that's kind of what you need to know heading into this book initially. So yeah, my thoughts and feelings about this book, you guys, I just have overwhelming positive praise and love towards this book. This book is just far better than it should even be, you guys. I mean that in the best possible way, though. This book, I initially kind of was expecting it not to be very good. But wow, I was just very impressed. I absolutely loved what Mackenzie Lee did with this book. Not only just the book and the narrative, but I really loved and appreciated what she did with the Loki character. The things she was doing with his character, the things she was trying to say about his character, and yeah, this whole idea of him, kind of his obsession with wanting to be a hero, not the villain. He doesn't want to be controlled by fate and destiny. He wants to make his own mark and do his own thing without somebody else telling him what he should and should not be or whatever. So I just absolutely loved every little bit that Mackenzie Lee did with him as a character. Yeah, this version of Loki in this book, he's supposed to be younger. He's not like child age, I don't think, but he did strike me as being more of like an older teenager. He did strike me kind of being around that age range, a bit younger, because yeah, he's still trying to figure himself out, figure out his identity, because that's the big thing about him in this book, is him trying to figure out his destiny and trying to figure out his identity and trying to figure out who he wants to be. Yeah, I liked his design. You get a great visual of what he looks like in this book, because he's younger, he's scrawny, he definitely does not look like his older brother Thor. Thor is described as being really masculine and buff and sexy, and Loki is none of those things. He's tinier, he's very tall, but he's tinier and not as muscular or anything. Yeah, he has darker hair, his complexion is paler, but yeah, Mackenzie Lee just does a lot of great things with just his overall look, because Loki likes to wear leather, he likes to wear high heels, because he even makes mention that he goes and borrows Amora's high heels. He loves to go in there and sneak and get her high heels. He wears black nail polish. He's just so himself in this book. He's so very much himself. He does what he wants, however he wants. He doesn't care what he looks like. And yeah, a big part of this book, what Mackenzie Lee also does with him as a character, is, I guess, his gender fluidity, if you will, his sexuality. Loki, he likes guys, he likes girls. Since he does have magical capabilities, not only can he shapeshift into other guys, but he can also shapeshift into other women if he so chooses, and he likes doing that. And yeah, there's even a character, since the parts in London do take place in the 18th century, there is a gay human character in this, and this character is just so intrigued with Loki and his personality and how flamboyant and open Loki is, and that Loki just doesn't care what others think about him. And yeah, Loki's like, hey, I'm neither a dude, I'm neither a girl, I'm just whatever, you know, it doesn't matter to me. And yeah, he's kind of like this. He's weirdly enough this inspiration towards this human character who is struggling with his own identity and his own sexuality, and that means a lot to him, even though Loki at the time doesn't really comprehend that, he doesn't really care, because he despises other humans so much. So yeah, you guys, I ended up being just so pleasantly surprised with this book. There's a depth to this book. It goes to some very interesting, unexpected places. There's a maturity to this book. Yeah, on the surface you may be thinking, oh, this is a Marvel book and it's following Loki and whatnot. How serious can it be? But this book, like I said, there's just a depth and maturity to it that I really loved and appreciated. I loved the story going on. I loved the character of Loki. I liked all of the secondary supporting characters. Even those characters were all just incredibly well developed, I felt like, and were interesting in their own right. And yeah, once again, Mackenzie Lee she perfectly captures Loki. She captures all of those things that I love and adore about his character, you know, from his tone to his mood and his personality, yet his humor and sarcasm, which is a big deal. She just perfectly captures all of that. I also love the character of Amora, who is a sorceress, and she's essentially Loki's best friend. I loved her journey, how she starts in this book kind of as a naive girl, but someone who is really enthusiastic about discovering her magic and using her magic, but yeah, that gets her into trouble. She's banished from courts, down to earth. Yeah, I loved how her role was in this particular book, and then she comes back in some interesting ways as the narrative develops. And yeah, like Loki, because this book is all about his journey, about his identity and destiny. It's also very much the same thing with Amora, you know, her trying to discover her identity as well. So yeah, overall, I cannot repeat enough how much I adored this book. It's just super fun, you guys. This is a super fun book. Just every single page I loved. I was never bored. I found it thoroughly entertaining from start to finish. And yeah, like I've already said, just there's a depth and maturity that I wasn't expecting heading into this book. Because I just was expecting it to be a little bit more light and goofy, I suppose. But this ended up being a lot more serious in some places. But yeah, there's also just some really great humor and hilarious moments that happen that are very laugh out loud. So yeah, I definitely recommend this book if you're like me and you love all things Loki, especially the Marvel version of him. This is like, it's very focused on the Marvel version of him, but there are numerous references to his, you know, the traditional Norse version of him. That's kind of brought up in some interesting ways, like how humans think of him because of what has been told in the original Norse tales. You know, the Norse tales depict him as a villain and like the end of Asgard, essentially. So yeah, that's also kind of adding to his complex of being like, oh god, here's human books telling me who and what I should be, that I should be the villain, you know, just adding further and further to him and his struggles to kind of not be the villain that he wants to be a hero too. So I definitely recommend this if you love the Marvel version of Loki. And yeah, this has a historical fiction aspect to it, which was an added bonus for me since I love historical fiction. I loved seeing Loki down in 18th century London, which was kind of cool and awesome. So yeah, I definitely recommend this. I have nothing but high praise for this. So you guys, that is it for my book review on Loki, Where Mischief Lies. In the comments below, have you guys read this book? Do you plan on reading it? If you have read it, did you love it? Did you hate it? Just let me know. So that's it for this book review. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this video, you may like these other videos. Bye guys.